Welcome back, everybody.
It's hard to believe we're already on round 3 of this competition.
I can't wait to see what happens.
I know, and this round was even more exciting because of our 2 special guests, Nate Bowman and Jeremey Condrey. Nate is known as the Weld Scientist on YouTube and Instagram, and Jeremey is the president of the Southern Weld Company.
I had a chance to talk with them before they were called to their judging duties.
Great, let's see what they had to say.
I've been welding since I was about 15 or 16, I think.
How did you get started so young?
So we had a high school welding program, so a lot of people are like, man, you've gotten a long way. And it's like I started in a high school welding program and in an inner city, shoestring budget welding program, and here we are at FabTech, in like almost 20 years later.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Do you think we're getting enough young people getting into the trades and specifically into welding? And if not, what do we need to do to get more?
I think we're starting to do a lot better. I mean, this is a perfect example, a big company like 3M reaching out and creating, excitement around competing. That's a great thing to be doing for schools and to get people interested in this thing. You guys are giving away $10,000 scholarship. I mean, that's a huge springboard into a career for these students. Seeing companies like yourself and others getting involved in schools and kind of creating that career path for people is a huge opportunity for you guys and for this industry.
What do you think social media is doing as far as bringing people into the trades?
Well, I mean, it got me here, so it's another huge opportunity for people to see and connect with other folks in the industry. You live or work in a small town and you're super passionate about welding like I was, you might be one of the only few people that are super into it. But you jump on social media and it's really easy to find other people that are kind of like-minded and that are also passionate about welding.
So when I was in high school, it was all about going to college, and you're not going to be successful without a 4-year degree. That's not the case. I mean, these kids can go to a tech school, can go to a 4-year college and come out and be making 6 figures as long as you're willing to work. So they're starting to see we're skilled craftsmen. So there's no shame in having a skill. We're more than just a welder. We're doing metallurgy, we're doing chemistry, we're doing geometry, trigonometry, and you're having to figure all this stuff out. And yeah, you come home after a 10, 12-hour day and you look like you just been beat to death, but you've done something that not a lot of people can say they do.
There's a huge trend toward more and more robotics and automation, not just in the welding, but in grinding and finishing and other steps of the fabrication process. How do you think that's going to affect the welders themselves and the trades in general?
One of the things that I'm seeing is it's actually creating jobs. Despite what a lot of people think, I mean, it takes like 2 or 3 people to be able to feed a robotic cell, And these are actually really secure jobs where, because you're the only guy that knows how to run the machine. And I think that the industry, a lot of, welders are older and they're more afraid and resistant to technology. Whereas younger students, they're used to having a screen. So you hand somebody a tablet or something like that that's 15, 16 years old, they're like, yeah, this is no problem. So, that's another tool in their toolbox that they have. It's an advantage that they're going to have coming into the industry that I think a lot of the older generation doesn't have.
So you've been invited here today to help be a judge for the welding portion of 3M's Clash of the Grinders Student Edition.
Yeah.
So when you look at the weld, what are you going to be looking for?
Really, with what we're doing here, it's just bead on plate. So the only thing we can do is just visual inspection. So I'm looking for consistency, lack of spatter. They have the opportunity to position the plate any way that they want. So kind of seeing the way that they sequence their welds and the thought that goes into making the weld as clean as possible is really what I'm going to be looking for.
What kind of mistakes do you think people will make?
The biggest thing that people are going to make a mistake doing is they're going to get in a hurry and they're going to try and make that whole thing in one pass. If I were welding the plate, I would break it down into every linear weld that I can do in a straight line, and I'd line the plate up where I could get super comfortable and make that single linear weld. And then the 3 I would probably do in 2 half circles. Rather than try and go to the center and then back out over the top of your weld. So maybe do the top one first and then the second one and land in the puddle.
What do you think are the biggest mistakes you're going to see?
They got all this going on, thinking about the scholarships, and a lot of these kids have never been to Chicago, have never been around. Well, there's probably 50, 60,000 people here today. So I guess the nerves, just trying to process everything that's going on around them.
If there were anything you wanted to tell our students about their future, about the contest, about how to be successful, what would you want to tell them?
I would say never stop learning, because welding is new. You know, if you really think about electric arc welding, it's only about 100 years old, and there's constant innovation. So there's always something to learn. There's always another class you can take. There's always another credential you could potentially go out and get. And the more education you have, that's just the more perspective you gain on the industry, and it allows you to make better decisions with your career.
Now I think we should just get right down to it.
Yes, round 3, the welding challenge.
Whether you were first or sixth, it doesn't matter. We start with a clean slate and style counts. When that's done, we want to see that bead looking good.
One of the things I was talking about with these guys is like being able to sequence the welds. So like some people try to do it in one pass. Some people, you know, line that plate up and then did it and landed in their craters.
Yes.
I think this guy did it the best.
Yeah.
Whoever had that plate, that one looks pretty good.
The big thing that we had to look at here is basically just visual inspection. You know, we're not able to bend or break anything, so just looking for overall bead appearance, lack of spatter, weld sequence, and what else are we looking at?
Cleanliness.
Cleanliness, yeah, that's the other one.
Yeah. Cleaning the weld up after the end of it. You know, there's no way to really measure the welds or anything like that, so we just kind of told them just consistency mainly. You know, as long as you're the same across the board.
This one might be our number 2. What do you think, this one or this one?
I would say this one.
This one?
Yeah. I mean,
So it's got a big kind of spot on this.
yeah, he probably had a little bit of stuff on the contact tip or the cup, and
This person definitely brushed it up,
Yeah.
like after post-weld clean, so I
Yeah.
like to see that.
try to get most of his spatter off. There's a little bit left on there, but you know, not the end of the world. I think, like right here, looked like he probably pulled some trash out of the cup.
Yep.
You know, probably a little too close and started building up, you know, weld spatter and stuff like that. Probably finally just came out. I think he done a better job of cleaning than this one,
Yeah, I'd say this is going to be number 3.
just because of the final.
The amount of final extra prep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
About
the welds
the
are
same.
about the same, but
yeah.
yeah, the little extra effort in the end, I think, is
Yeah.
going to go a long way. So there you go. 1, 2, 3.
All right, there's our 3.
We kicked off this morning with 11 contestants. We had a cutting competition. We eliminated 2. 9 advanced. We had a beveling competition, and you 6 advanced. Next, we had the welding competition. It's a very different skill set, isn't it? So we are going to advance 3 of you, and 3 of you will not advance. I would like you to turn over and see what number, see where you place. So, if you were number 3, I would like you to hold up your plate. Well done, Parker Hans. If you were number 2, I would like you to hold up your plate. And if you were number 1, I'd like you to hold up your plate. Ben, well done. How about that? All right.
I'm real happy, man. If I can make it rated R, dude, I would. But I'll keep it PG.
PG, man. PG.
I know.
Come on, this is going on YouTube.
I feel excellent.
A lot better than
Yeah,
last time.
3M. Gateway.
I think at this point, we really need to hear what the students had to say about being in the top 3.
Yes. Ben, Parker, and Hunter, take it away.
I'm happy with the ones that I ended up finishing with in the top 3. They bring good energy to it, especially Parker. He's awesome. I love him. But I do like competing against everybody else. They're real good people, and I like it.
Yesterday, something happened by the hotel, and we were all looking at it, and we all started laughing, saying jokes, and it was an immediate bond. And then we were coming here today, cracking jokes. It was all good people, good action, all respect towards each other, which is the best thing.
Some of these guys are really cool, and I mean, they're all going through the same thing I am. They're all trying to learn, get better. I mean, they all came out here because they have that passion to just get out there and go and pick up as much as they can.
Ben and Hunter, they're good at what they do, and even if I don't get first or second, they deserve it.
I'd like to win it, but at the same time, I'd like to see my peers win something too.
I feel like I have a shot. Nonetheless, even if the shot airballed, I'm still the winner at the end. You know, I'm just trying to represent Gateway at this point. I'm trying to have fun. Before I was real nervous and all that, but now I'm more relaxed. You know, I was more in tune with the crowd looking up.
As you can see, we now have Mike Halleck from 3M here with us to talk about the 3M products that the students used in this round of the competition. Welcome, Mike.
Thanks, Katie.
You know, the students were really happy they got to wear 3M Speed Glass helmets and 3M AdFlow pappers during the competition. Mike, is the main benefit of wearing a 3M Speed Glass helmet that it makes you look cooler?
No, but it can help you stay cooler, right, Mike?
It can in some instances, but the main benefit is the PPE involved with it. When you look at one of these integrated solutions, we had these students doing various tasks. First off, they were grinding and cutting. When we grind and cut, we're going to produce fume and swarf. Fume, respiratory protection. That was an APF 25 system they had on. Swarf, eye protection. They had a full integrated face shield on. Even in the event of anything breaking away, right, they had a face shield on. Later in the competition, they were wearing it in a down position, which is now activating the ADF. So now we're welding, we have our advanced optics, they had our variable color optics in there, so that they can do the best they can in their welding scenario.
Interesting. Mike, what do you think are some of the features and benefits of the 3M Speed Glass helmets and 3M AdFlow pappers?
So you have to look at it system by system. When we looked at what we put these students in, they were in what we call a G501 with an AdFlow papper. So in that, they have integrated respiratory protection in an APF of 25. They had a face shield on. They had an inline auto darkening filter, so they can go back and forth to their job. But this varies upon our different scenarios and different helmets. For instance, we have the same type of thing that has integrated hard hats, or we can peel it all the way back to simple welding helmets themselves. Also in there, we have different optics involved, such as our variable color that they had in this helmet too, allowing them to see their puddle to their desire.
Any thoughts after watching the students in this competition? What do you think they're taking away from this?
It was great to see these students, right? Welders are getting older and older all the time. It was great to see this young group of individuals involved. Tons of energy, and I think a true benefit for them was actually come to FabTech, right? We've all had some schooling. Schooling only takes you so far. Where you learn is when you get out in the field, get to see different applications, get to see different things. Life experience alone helps you. And they got to see a ton of this here.
That's really interesting. Thank you so much for being here, Mike. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Mike.
So to learn more about Speed Glass, scan the QR code or click the link in the description. So next week, we have a bonus round where the top 3 students got to do some interactive robotic demos and even teach a robot how to weld. We took the top 3 on a field trip to 2 other booths at FabTech, our partners at Fanuc and PushCorp.
That's not all. Carl Dukeson, 3M Global Robotics and Automation Director, will be here to talk about, well, robotics and automation. And we will also hear from Robert Pushka, Vice President of Education Strategies at A3, the Association for Advancing Automation.
Sounds like another great show.
It will be. So please join us next time as we get closer to finding out who was crowned the winner of Clash of the Grinders Student Edition. And if you want to know more about 3M Cubitron 3 abrasives, scan the QR code or click the link in the description, fill out the form, and receive exclusive insider emails.